Close your eyes and let the modern world drift away. Imagine the sounds of the 21st century fading into a deep, rhythmic silence. The hum of electricity is gone. The roar of distant traffic vanishes. In its place, there is only the pulse of the earth and the steady, ancient breath of the North Sea. We are traveling back to the year 870. We are traveling to the jagged, mist-draped coast of Western Norway. Here, the mountains do not merely rise, they loom like sleeping giants, their feet buried in the cold, black glass of the fjords. This is a world of timber, iron, and salt. It is a world governed by the seasons, the gods, and the sharp edge of a well-maintained axe. But before the raids, before the sails are hoisted, there is the home. There is the hearth. This is the story of Bjorn, a man of the soil and the sea. This is the story of a Viking. The morning does not begin with light. It begins with the smell of peat smoke and the low, rhythmic grinding of a hand mill. Bjorn stirs beneath a heavy pile of sheepskins and coarse wool blankets. The air in the longhouse is thick. It carries the scent of cured meat hanging from the rafters. It carries the earthy musk of the cattle stalled at the far end of the hall. In the deep winter and early spring, the animals are the best heaters a man can ask for. Their low lowing is a steady heartbeat in the dark. Bjorn lies still for a moment. He listens to the house breathe. To his left, his wife, Astrid, is already moving. She is the húsfreyja, the lady of the house. He hears the jingle of the keys at her belt. Those keys are the symbol of her power. They unlock the chests of grain, the stores of dried fish, and the heavy doors of the larder. In this world, a man may rule the waves, but a woman rules the threshold. Bjorn sits up slowly. His joints ache with the memory of last year's harvest and the dampness of the fjord air. He is a bondi, a free farmer. He owns this land. He owns the timber of these walls. He is not a professional soldier, though he knows the weight of a shield. He is a man tied to the rhythms of the earth. He reaches for his tunic, made of heavy, undyed wool. It is rough against his skin, but it is warm. He pulls on his trousers and binds them with leather thongs. There are no fineries here. There are no unnecessary decorations. Every stitch of clothing has been spun, woven, and sewn by the hands of the women in this room. The longhouse is a cavern of shadows. It stretches nearly 30 meters from end to end. The walls are thick, made of stacked stone and turf, lined inside with heavy wooden planks. There are no windows. Light enters only through the lorry, the smoke hole in the roof, and the two heavy doors at either end. In the center of the room, the long fire crackles. It is the soul of the home. The fire is never allowed to truly die. Even in the deepest night, a small ember is kept alive under the ash, ready to be teased back into a flame at dawn. Bjorn moves toward the warmth. He sees his children stirring in the side beds. They sleep on raised wooden platforms lined with straw and furs. His eldest son, Leif, is already awake, staring at the ceiling. The boy is nearing the age where the farm will no longer be enough for his ambition. Bjorn sees the restlessness in the lad's eyes. It is a restlessness Bjorn knows well. Bjorn reaches the hearth and accepts a wooden bowl from Astrid. Inside is a thick porridge of barley and rye, sweetened slightly with a bit of wild honey. It is honest food. It is the fuel of the north. He eats in silence, listening to the crackle of the peat. Outside, the world is waking up. He can hear the gulls screaming over the water. He can hear the wind whistling through the mountain pines. It is a lonely sound, but it is the sound of home. As he eats, he looks at his hands. They are calloused and scarred. One scar, a long white line across his palm, came from a reaping hook 3 summers ago. Another, a jagged mark on his forearm, came from a training bout with a bearded axe. In the corner of the longhouse, the thralls are beginning their work. They are the unfree, the men and women taken in raids or born into servitude. They carry the heavy water buckets. They muck out the stalls of the sheep and the small, hardy northern horses. Bjorn watches them with a detached, practical eye. He treats them well enough, for a broken thrall is a useless investment. In the Norse world, everything has a price and a purpose. The ice is breaking in the upper reaches, Astrid says softly. Her voice is like the sharpening of a blade, clear and firm. Bjorn nods. He knows what this means. The breaking of the ice is the opening of the world. For months they have been locked in the embrace of the mountains. They have lived on what they stored. They have told stories to keep the darkness at bay. But the sun is climbing higher each day. The sap is rising in the trees. The Viking season is approaching. To go Viking is not who they are, but what they do. It is a summer job. It is a way to find the silver that the rocky soil of Norway refuses to yield. He stands and walks to the heavy oak door. He lifts the wooden bar and pushes it open. The transition is violent. The smoky, dim warmth of the longhouse is replaced by the piercing blue light of a Norwegian spring. The air is so cold it stings his lungs, tasting of salt and melted snow. Before him, the fjord stretches out like a sheet of hammered silver. The mountains rise straight from the water, their peaks still capped in brilliant white. Down at the water's edge, he sees the silhouettes of the boats. They are pulled up onto the rocky beach, covered in hides to protect them from the winter gales. Bjorn breathes in deeply. The smell of the outdoors is a mixture of damp earth, rotting seaweed, and the faint, sweet scent of budding birch. He looks at his fields. They are small, carved out of the rugged landscape with immense effort. Soon, he will have to guide the plow. He will have to trust the seeds to the earth. But his eyes keep drifting back to the water. He thinks of the poems he heard in his youth. He thinks of the words of the Havamal, the sayings of the High One. A man should not leave his weapons behind him when he takes a step forward on the road, for he never knows when he may need his spear. He turns back to the interior of the house. Hanging on the wall near the head of his bed is his shield. It is round, made of linden wood, faced with toughened leather and reinforced with an iron boss. Beside it hangs his sword, a rare and precious thing, passed down from his father. It is not just steel, it is a piece of his lineage. He feels the pull of the 2 lives he leads, the life of the plow and the life of the oar. Bjorn steps out onto the muddy path. The ground is still partially frozen, crunching under his leather boots. He heads toward the storehouse to check the grain levels. He passes his daughter, who is carrying a basket of dried fish. She smiles at him, her face smudged with soot from the fire. This is what he protects. This circle of warmth in a cold, unforgiving world. This family unit is the foundation of everything. There are no kings here who can reach into his home without his consent. He is a free man. He is a master of his own fate, so long as the gods allow it. As the sun clears the ridge of the eastern mountains, flooding the fjord with a golden, watery light, Bjorn stands by the stone wall of his sheepfold. He looks out at the horizon, where the fjord meets the open sea. Somewhere out there, across the gray waves of the North Sea, lie lands with soft soil and rich monasteries. But for now, he is a farmer. He reaches down, picks up a handful of damp earth and squeezes it. The season has begun. The long sleep of winter is over, and the time for action is at hand. The morning light grows stronger now. It cuts through the smoke of the longhouse. It hits the dust motes in the air. Bjorn stands by the central hearth. He prepares for the first ritual of the day. This is the ritual of the body. He reaches for a wooden bowl. It sits on a low bench. The water inside is clear. It was drawn from the spring at dawn. It is very cold. He splashes his face. The chill bites his skin. It clears the last fog of sleep. He wipes the water away with a piece of coarse linen. He reaches for his comb. It is made of polished elk antler. It was carved by his uncle many winters ago. The teeth are fine. They are sharp. Bjorn runs the comb through his hair. He pulls it through his thick beard. This is not vanity. It is discipline. A man of the north is not a wild beast. He is a man of order. He keeps his hair neat. He keeps his beard trimmed. The stories of the English monks are wrong. They call the Northmen heathens. They call them filthy. But Bjorn bathes every Saturday. He combs his hair every morning. He keeps his clothes mended. A man represents his lineage. He represents his farm. As he combs, he recites the words of the High One. These are the verses of the Havamal. They are the wisdom of Odin. They are ancient. They are practical. He speaks them softly. His voice is a low rumble in the quiet hall. Early shall he rise who has few workers, and sets out to see to his work. Much is lost by him who sleeps, for the swift wealth is half won. Bjorn nods to himself. He has much work today. The spring season waits for no man. He looks at his sons. They are now moving. They begin their own washing. He watches them. He wants them to learn the value of the morning. He wants them to learn the value of the word. He moves toward the storage chests. These are made of oak. They are bound with iron strips. He finds his whetstone. It is a smooth, gray slip of rock. He picks up his seeks. This is his everyday knife. It has a heavy blade. It has a broken back shape. It is a tool for everything. He uses it to cut leather. He uses it to carve wood. He uses it to slice meat. He sits by the light of the door. He begins to sharpen the edge. The sound is rhythmic. Shh, click, shh, click. It is a meditative sound. Bjorn thinks of the wisdom of the road. Odin tells the traveler to be wary. All the doorways before one enters should be looked around. One should spy around, for one knows not for certain where enemies sit. Bjorn looks out at the fjord. The water is calm. There are no strange sails. There are no suspicious movements. But he remains alert. The world is a beautiful place. It is also a dangerous place. A man must always know his surroundings. He must know who sits at his fire. He must know who walks his path. He puts the knife away. He feels the edge with his thumb. It is keen. It is ready. He turns his attention to the hearth. Astrid is preparing the morning meal. There is dried fish. There is a small piece of salted pork. There are flat cakes made of pea flour and barley. Bjorn sits on the bench. He waits for his portion. He thinks of the rules of the guest. Fire is needed by the newcomer. His knees are cold. Food and clothes are needed by the man who has traveled over the mountains. This is the law of the north. Hospitality is sacred. A guest must be fed. He must be warmed. In return, the guest must be wise. He must not overstay his welcome. He must not drink too much ale. Bjorn has seen men lose their wits. He has seen men lose their honor at the bottom of a drinking horn. Odin warns against the heron of forgetfulness. That bird hovers over the drunkard. It steals the memory. Bjorn avoids the bird. He values his memory. He values his clear head. The meal is simple. It is sturdy. Bjorn chews the dried fish slowly. It is hard. It tastes of salt and wind. It provides strength. He looks at the walls of his home. He sees the carvings on the pillars. They show the shapes of serpents. They show the knots of the world tree, Yggdrasil. These carvings protect the house. They remind him of the larger world. He is a small man. He is a farmer. But he is part of a great tapestry. The Norns weave the threads. They sit by the well of Urther. They decide the length of a man's life. Bjorn does not fear death. He fears a life without meaning. He fears a name that is forgotten. Cattle die. Kinsmen die. You yourself shall die. I know one thing that never dies, the reputation of the dead man. This verse echoes in his mind. It is the core of his belief. A man's deeds are his only legacy. If he is fair, he is remembered. If he is brave, he is remembered. If he is a good father, he is remembered. He watches his youngest daughter. She is playing with a wooden doll. He wants her to remember him as a man of honor. He wants her to tell her children of the bondi who worked this land. He finishes his meal. He stands and stretches. His body feels ready. He looks at the tools by the door. There is the spade. There is the iron-tipped plow. There is the heavy axe for clearing brush. This is the work of the spring. It is grueling work. It involves moving stones. It involves digging in cold mud. It involves the constant repair of fences. The frost heaves the ground. It breaks the walls. Bjorn must mend them. He thinks of the goddess Freyja. He thinks of her brother Freyr. They are the Vanir. They govern the fertility of the earth. They govern the rain and the sun. Bjorn will offer a small portion of his meal to them later. He will pour a little ale into the roots of the old ash tree. He asks for a good season. He asks for the grain to grow tall. He asks for the ewes to have twin lambs. This is not a religion of books. It is a religion of the soil. It is a deal made with the powers of nature. He steps outside again. The sun is now higher. The dew is starting to lift from the grass. The air smells of damp wool and wood smoke. He sees his neighbor Thorkel walking toward the shore. Thorkel is an older man. He has seen many winters. He is a man of many stories. Bjorn raises a hand in greeting. Thorkel nods back. They do not need many words. The silence between them is comfortable. It is the silence of men who know the same struggles. Bjorn heads toward the barn. He needs to check the seed grain. It must be dry. It must be free of mold. If the grain fails, the family hungers. If the family hungers, the bonds of the household break. He opens the heavy door of the granary. He runs his hand through the barley. It is cool. It is dry. He feels a sense of relief. The winter did not win. The stores lasted. He looks back at the longhouse. It looks like an overturned boat. It is a ship of stone and turf. It protects his life. It protects his history. He thinks of the Havamal once more. A small hut is better than none. A man is a master at home. Though he has but 2 goats and a thatched roof, it is still better than begging. Bjorn smiles. He is no beggar. He is a free man. He has his land. He has his health. He has the wisdom of the gods. He takes the heavy spade from the wall. He walks toward the south field. The ground is waiting. The sun is shining. The day is full of potential. He begins the first turn of the earth. The metal bites into the soil. The smell of the deep earth rises up. It is the smell of life. It is the smell of the future. He works with a steady rhythm. He works with the patience of the mountains. He is Bjorn. He is a bondi. And the morning is his. The sun rises higher each day. The snow on the lower slopes is gone. The mud in the fields begins to firm. Bjorn puts down the spade. His work on the land is not finished. It is never truly finished. But the season of the sea has arrived. He looks down at the shore. The boathouse stands there. It is a long building. It is made of stone and heavy turf. Inside, the ship is waiting. It has slept all winter. It has been hidden from the ice. It has been hidden from the gales. Bjorn walks down the rocky path. He is joined by his neighbors. There is Thorkel. There is his son, Leif. There are other men from the surrounding farms. They are all bondar. They are all free men. They are not professional warriors. They are men of the fjord. But today, they have a new job. They are going Viking. This is a journey for trade. It is a journey for plunder. It is a journey for silver. They reach the boathouse. The air here is different. It is sharp. It is cold. It smells of rotting kelp and old salt. They pull back the heavy hide curtains. The ship sits in the shadows. It is a langskip. It is a longship. It is nearly 25 meters long. It is narrow. It is sleek. It is built of oak. Bjorn runs his hand along the hull. The wood is cold. The planks overlap each other. This is the clinker style. Each plank is held by iron rivets. The rivets are rusted orange from the salt. Bjorn inspects them. He looks for loose heads. He looks for gaps in the wood. The men begin to work. There is no shouting. There is only the sound of effort. They grab the rollers. These are thick trunks of pine. They place them under the keel. They lean their shoulders against the hull. They heave together. The ship groans. It protests the movement. Then it slides. It moves out of the dark. It enters the gray light of the morning. Now the real work begins. The ship must be made watertight. The winter has dried the wood. The gaps have opened. Bjorn brings a bucket of boiling tar. The smell is overpowering. It is the scent of the deep forest. It is thick. It is black. It is sticky. They take rolls of unwashed wool. They soak the wool in the tar. They take animal hair. They mix it in. They use wooden mallets. They use blunt chisels. They drive the tarred wool into the seams between the planks. This is the caulking. It is a slow task. It is a messy task. But it is vital. A ship that leaks is a grave for its crew. The sea has a long memory, Thorkel says. He is scraping old barnacles from the keel. She remembers every loose rivet. She remembers every lazy hand. Bjorn nods. He thinks of the Voluspa. He thinks of the great serpent in the deep. The sea is not a friend. It is a testing ground. They must be ready. They check the mastfish. This is the heavy block of oak in the center of the ship. It holds the base of the mast. It is carved in the shape of a fish. It is thick. It is strong. It must take the pressure of the wind. If the mastfish cracks, the ship is crippled. Bjorn examines the wood for rot. He finds none. The oak is solid. Next comes the rigging. They bring the ropes from the storehouse. These are not made of hemp. They are made of bast. Bast is the inner bark of the lime tree. Some ropes are made of walrus hide. These are the strongest. They are heavy. They are stiff with salt. The men stretch them out. They check for frayed strands. They check for weak spots. A broken stay in a storm means death. They work with focus. They work with the knowledge of experience. The sail is brought out last. It is a massive square of wool. It is heavy. It was woven during the long winter nights. The women used a vertical loom. They used the wool of the mountain sheep. The sail is white. It has stripes of deep red dye. The red comes from madder root. The wool has been treated. It was soaked in tallow. It was soaked in fish oil. This makes it windproof. It makes it heavy. It takes 4 men to carry it. They fold it carefully. They lay it in the center of the boat. Bjorn looks at the oars. Each man brings his own oar. Each oar is made of ash wood. It is light. It is flexible. Bjorn finds his oar. He has carved his name on the handle. He checks the blade. It is smooth. He checks the thole pins. These are the wooden pegs that hold the oar. He greases them with animal fat. He wants the oar to move silently. He wants the oar to be an extension of his own arm. The logistics are complex. They must carry food. They must carry water. They load the wooden barrels. The barrels contain fresh water. They contain sour ale. The ale stays fresh longer than water. They load sacks of dried fish. They load rounds of hard bread. They load tubs of salted butter. There is no galley on this ship. There is no fire for cooking. They will eat cold. They will eat simply. They also load the sea chests. Each man has a chest. It is made of pine. It is his seat. It is his bed. It is his locker. Bjorn places his chest near the stern. Inside is his extra tunic. Inside is a spare pair of leather boots. Inside are his whetstones. On top of the chest, he will sit for hours. He will pull his oar until his back screams. He will sleep on the hardwood under a shared hide. The ship is almost ready. The hull is black with fresh tar. The mast is stepped. The rigging is tight. The Viking is no longer a dream. It is a physical reality. Bjorn looks at the other men. They are no longer just farmers. They are a crew. They are a phalag. This is a brotherhood of risk. They have all invested. They have all put skin in the game. Wealth is like the blink of an eye, Bjorn mutters. He quotes the Havamal. It is the most fickle of friends. He knows this is true. A bad harvest can ruin a man. A storm can sink a man. But a successful voyage can change everything. It can buy more land. It can buy more cattle. It can buy the freedom of a kinsman. Bjorn looks at his son, Leif. The boy is testing the tension of the shroud. He looks proud. He looks eager. Bjorn feels a pang of worry. The sea is hungry, but he hides his fear. He is the father. He is the bondi. They push the ship further into the water. The tide is coming in. The cold water swirls around Bjorn's boots. The ship begins to float. It lifts off the rollers. It becomes a living thing. It bobbles on the surface. It is no longer a pile of wood and iron. It is a bird of the sea. It is a steed of the waves. Bjorn climbs over the side. He feels the ship move beneath him. It is not rigid. It is flexible. The hull is designed to twist. It is designed to yield to the pressure of the water. This is the genius of the North. They do not fight the ocean. They move with it. They flow over the swells. The sun begins to set. The fjord is painted in orange and purple. The ship is tethered to a stone post. They will leave at first light. Bjorn stays on the deck for a moment. He looks back at the longhouse. He sees the smoke from the fire. He sees Astrid standing by the door. She is a small figure against the mountain. He knows she will manage. She is strong. She is the anchor of the home. He turns back to the sea. The horizon is wide. It is empty. Somewhere beyond the mist lies the west. Somewhere lies the silver. Bjorn sits on his chest. He feels the rhythm of the water. He is ready. The preparation is done. The voyage has begun in his mind. He is Bjorn the Bondi, and tomorrow he goes Viking. The dawn is gray. It is a thin line of light. The fjord is filled with mist. The water is flat and silent. Bjorn stands at the stern. He holds the steering oar. This is the stormbordy. It is a massive piece of wood. It is fixed to the right side of the ship. This is the starboard. He feels the weight of the sea through the handle. He feels the ship twitch. He feels it breathe. Oars out, Bjorn commands. The sound of wood on wood follows. 30 men move as one. They slide the ash oars through the holes. The blades hit the water. They make a soft splash. The ship begins to glide. The rhythm is steady. Pull, lift, slide, repeat. Bjorn watches the wake. It is a silver trail in the dark water. They leave the farm behind. They leave the smoke of the hearth behind. The mountains of Norway begin to shrink. They look like teeth against the sky. The rowing is hard. It is a slow, grinding labor. Bjorn feels it in his lower back. He feels it in his forearms. The men do not talk. They save their breath. They listen to the creak of the hull. They listen to the slap of the waves. The air is very cold. It smells of ice and salt. Their breath comes in white clouds. It hangs in the air like ghosts. Keep the beat, Thorkel calls. He sits near the bow. He watches the water. He watches for rocks. He watches for floating ice. They reach the mouth of the fjord. The shelter of the land vanishes. The North Sea meets them. It is not a flat surface. It is a series of rolling hills. The ship lifts. It falls. It tilts to the side. The transition is violent. The men must find their sea legs. They braced their feet against the chests. They lean into the wind. Bjorn looks at the sky. It is thick with clouds. There is no sun to guide them. There are no landmarks here. There is only the gray circle of the horizon. This is the Whale Road. It is a place of vast emptiness. A man can get lost here easily. He can wander until the water takes him. But Bjorn has a tool. He reaches into a leather pouch. He pulls out a small translucent stone. This is the Sunstone. It is a piece of Iceland's spar. He holds the stone up to the sky. He moves it slowly. He looks for a change in the light. Even through the clouds, the stone reacts. It catches the polarized light. It glows bright in one spot. This spot marks the sun. Bjorn knows his direction now. He adjusts the steering oar. He points the prow toward the west. The wind is rising, Leif says. He is standing by the mast. The boy is right. The breeze is turning. It comes from the east. This is a gift from Njordr. He is the god of the sea. He is the father of Freyr. He controls the winds. Bjorn gives the signal. Raise the sail. The men drop their oars. They move with practiced speed. They pull the heavy ropes. The red striped wool rises. It catches the wind. It snaps like a whip. Then it fills. It bellies out. The ship leaps forward. The sound of the rowing stops. It is replaced by the roar of the wind. It is replaced by the hiss of the foam. The ship is now a bird. It skims over the tops of the waves. The North Sea is a harsh mistress. The spray hits the men. It is freezing. It coats their wool tunics. It turns to salt as it dries. Their skin becomes stiff. Their eyes sting. But they do not complain. They are Norsemen. They are built for the cold. They huddle together for warmth. They share their sour ale. They eat their dried fish. Bjorn looks out at the waves. He thinks of the poems. He thinks of the saga of the Volsungs. He thinks of the heroes who crossed these waters. The sea is the roof of the world, he whispers. He watches the birds. This is another way to navigate. He sees a gannet. It is flying low. It is heading west. He sees a puffin. These birds do not fly far from land. They are a sign. They tell him the direction of the islands. He also watches the whales. A pod of pilot whales breaks the surface. They blow spray into the air. They are moving steadily. Bjorn follows their lead. The creatures of the deep know the paths. They know the hidden currents. The day turns to dusk. The light fades to a deep, bruised purple. The stars begin to appear. They are sharp and bright. They are the eyes of the gods. Bjorn looks for the Leitharstjarn. This is the leading star. It is the North Star. It does not move. It is the fixed point of the universe. He keeps it over his right shoulder. He knows his course is true. Night on the open sea is a time of ghosts. The water looks black. It looks bottomless. The ship feels very small. It is a sliver of wood in an infinite dark. The men try to sleep. They huddle on their sea chests. They pull their sheepskins over their heads. They sleep in pairs for warmth. The motion of the ship is like a cradle. It rocks them. It groans under them. Bjorn stays at the oar. He does not sleep. He cannot sleep. He is the master of the ship. The lives of these 30 men are in his hands. He feels the vibration of the hull. He listens for the sound of breaking waves. Breaking waves mean shallow water. They mean rocks. They mean death. He stays alert. He rubs his hands to keep the blood moving. He chews on a piece of hard bread. He thinks of the Norns. They are the three sisters. They weave the web of fate. One sister is Urd. She is the past. One sister is Verdandi. She is the present. The third is Skuld. She is the future. They have already decided the end of this voyage. They have already measured the thread of Bjorn's life. This thought gives him peace. If he is meant to drown, he will drown. If he is meant to reach the shore, he will reach it. He does not fight fate. He walks alongside it. A man should be brave, he recalls. He should be cheerful until the hour of his death. The wind holds through the night. The ship eats the leagues. The red sail is a dark shadow against the stars. The spray continues to fly. It is a constant mist. Bjorn feels the salt on his lips. He tastes the ocean. He is no longer a farmer. He is a part of the sea. He is a part of the storm. As the first light of the second day touches the east, the horizon changes. It is no longer a flat line. There is a bump on the edge of the world. It is a gray shape. It looks like a cloud, but it does not move. It is solid. It is heavy. Land, Thorkel shouts from the bow. The men stir. They throw off their furs. They stand up. They squint into the distance. It is the islands of the west. It is the land of the monks. It is the land of the silver. The crossing is almost over. The North Sea has been crossed. The Viking is about to truly begin. Bjorn grips the steering oar. He feels a surge of energy. His tiredness vanishes. He looks at his men. They are ready. They are the sons of the North, and the world is open before them. The coast grows tall. It is no longer a gray smudge. It is a wall of green and brown. This is not the jagged rock of Norway. These are the soft cliffs of the west. Bjorn watches the surf. It hits the base of the cliffs with a white roar. He seeks a place to land. He seeks a beach of shingle. He seeks a spot where the waves do not break the hull. Drop the sail, Bjorn shouts. The red wool falls in a heavy heap. The ship slows down. It loses its speed. The men grab their oars once more. They slide them into the water. They pull with short, powerful strokes. They are close to the shore now. They can see the birds on the rocks. They can smell the wet grass. They can see the smoke of a village. The ship touches the bottom. There is a soft, grinding sound. It is the sound of sand on wood. The men jump over the sides. The water is chest deep. It is cold. It is heavy. They grab the ropes. They pull the longship onto the shore. They work together. They are a single machine. The ship is safe. It sits above the tide. Shields up, Bjorn says. His voice is calm. It is steady. This is the moment of the Skaldborg. This is the shield wall. It is not the chaos of the sagas. It is not a mad rush. It is a wall of wood and iron. The men stand in a line. They stand shoulder to shoulder. Bjorn stands in the center. To his left is Thorkel. To his right is his son, Leif. They overlap their shields. The edge of one shield covers the rim of the next. It creates a solid front. It is a barrier. It is a fort made of men. They do not wear horned helmets. Those are for the myths. Bjorn wears a simple iron cap. It has a nose guard. It protects his brow. He wears a tunic of padded linen. He has a shirt of iron rings. It is heavy. It smells of oil. They hear a sound from the ridge. It is the sound of bells. It is the sound of shouting. The locals have seen them. They are coming to defend their land. These are not professional soldiers. They are farmers like Bjorn. They carry pitchforks. They carry hunting spears. They do not have a wall. They do not have the discipline of the North. Wait, Bjorn commands. Hold the line. The locals charge. They scream. They throw stones. The stones hit the shields with a dull thud. The wall does not move. The men of the fjords stand still. They breathe through their noses. They keep their eyes on the enemy. They are professional. They are cold. They are here for a job. The enemy hits the wall. It is a shock of meat and wood. Bjorn feels the pressure. He leans his shoulder into his shield. He plants his feet in the sand. He does not swing his sword yet. He uses his shield as a weapon. He pushes. He rams the iron boss into a man's face. He hears the crunch of bone. The shield wall is a grinding teeth. It moves forward. Step, push, strike, step. It is slow. It is relentless. Behind the first rank, the second rank waits. They hold their spears over the shoulders of the first men. They jab at the gaps. They target the eyes. They target the throats. Now, Thorkel yells. The wall opens for a second. It is like a mouth. Bjorn swings his axe. It is a bearded axe. The blade is curved. It catches the rim of an enemy's shield. He pulls down. He creates an opening. Leif thrusts his spear through the gap. The enemy falls. The wall closes again. It is seamless. It is perfect. The local men begin to break. They see the efficiency of the Norse. They see that their courage is not enough. They are fighting a machine. They turn. They run toward the woods. Bjorn does not chase them. He does not waste his breath. He does not seek glory in a reckless run. He seeks the objective. Form up, Bjorn calls. The men straighten the line. They wipe the blood from their shields. They check their equipment. They are not panting. They are not celebrating. They are assessing the situation. This is the tactical reality of the North. The battle is a calculation. It is a means to an end. Bjorn looks at the village. It is small. The houses are made of wattle and daub. The roofs are thatched with straw. In the center stands a stone building. It has a cross on the roof. This is the place of the silver. This is the place of the white Christ. Bjorn does not hate the monks. He does not care about their god. He only cares about the metal they keep inside. Thorkel, take 10 men to the church, Bjorn orders. Leif, stay with the ship. Keep the guard. The men move out. They move in small groups. They stay close to each other. They do not scatter. They know that a lone man is a dead man. Bjorn walks through the village. He sees a woman hiding behind a grain store. He ignores her. He is not here for cruelty. He is here for profit. He reaches the stone building. The doors are heavy oak. They are locked from the inside. Bjorn signals to 2 men with axes. They begin to chop. The wood splinters. The iron hinges groan. Within minutes, The door is down. The air inside is thick. It smells of beeswax. It smells of incense. It is quiet. A group of men in black robes stand by the altar. They hold crosses. They chant in a language Bjorn does not know. They look terrified. Their hands are shaking. Bjorn walks past them. He does not strike them. He goes for the chests. He finds a chalice. It is made of gold. It is decorated with red stones. He finds a book. The cover is plated in silver. He rips the silver from the wood. He drops the pages. He does not want the words. He wants the weight. He fills a leather bag with the coins. They are thin. They are stamped with the face of a foreign king. This is the fruit of the voyage. This is the Danegeld. This is the payment for the risk. He walks back out into the sunlight. The village is silent now. The locals have fled. The livestock has been gathered. His men are carrying sacks of grain. They are leading a few young men and women. These are the captives. They will be sold in the markets of Hidebai. They will be sold in the markets of the East. They are worth more than the gold. They are the labor of the future. Bjorn returns to the beach. The ship is waiting. It looks beautiful on the sand. The tide is beginning to turn. They must move fast. They load the plunder. They load the silver. They load the captives into the center of the boat. The Norns have been kind today, Leif says. He is holding a silver arm ring. Bjorn looks at the boy. He looks at the blood on his spear. He looks at the village on the hill. The Norns offer the thread, Bjorn replies. We must do the weaving. They push the ship back into the water. The shield wall is gone. The soldiers are gone. They are sailors again. They are traders again. They row away from the shore. The smoke from the village rises into the blue sky. The land of the west fades behind them. They have done their job. They have survived the wall. Now they look toward the next horizon. Bjorn takes his place at the steering oar. He feels the silver in his pouch. It is heavy. It is cold. It is the sound of a successful year. He looks at the sunstone. He finds the path. The ship turns toward the open sea. The Viking continues. The cycle of the north turns once more. The adrenaline fades. The heat of the shield wall is gone. Now the cold professionalism begins. This is the part of the voyage that requires a steady hand. It requires a hard heart. The men do not celebrate with wild shouts. They do not drink themselves into a stupor. They are deep in enemy territory. They are far from the fjords. Every moment on this shore is a risk. They move with purpose. They move with the silence of shadows. Bjorn stands on the pebble beach. He watches the sorting of the loot. This is the raid mechanics. It is a business transaction. It is not a random grab. The Norse do not just want gold. Gold is rare in these small villages. They want silver. They want hack silver. They take arm rings and necklaces. They take the silver trim from holy books. If a piece is too large, they chop it. They use their small scales. They weigh the metal. They care about the weight, not the shape. 20 marks of silver, Thorkel says. He drops a handful of coins into a wooden chest. It is a good start, but the silver is only half the profit. Bjorn turns his gaze to the captives. There are 12 of them. They sit in a line on the sand. Their hands are bound with hemp rope. These are the thralls. In the markets of the world, a strong young man is worth much silver. A healthy woman who can weave and cook is worth even more. The Norse are the great middlemen of the slave trade. They pull from the west. They sell to the east. They are the gears of a global machine. Check their feet, Bjorn commands. We cannot have them limping. He walks down the line. He looks at their teeth. He looks at their hands. He is not looking for beauty. He is looking for utility. One young man glares at him. His eyes are full of fire. Bjorn respects the fire, but he checks the bonds anyway. He ensures the knots are tight. He ensures the rope does not cut the skin too deeply. A scarred slave loses value. The men begin the clearing. They move back through the village. They do not burn the houses yet. Smoke is a signal. Smoke brings the local lords. They want to be gone before the cavalry arrives. They take the livestock. They lead the small, shaggy cattle toward the ship. They take the sheep. The animals are difficult to load. They are frightened. They kick. The men use blankets to cover the animals' eyes. They lift them into the hold of the nar. The nar is different from the longship. It is the pack horse of the sea. It is wider. It is deeper. It is built for cargo. Bjorn's fleet has 2 of them. They are already half full. They carry sacks of grain. They carry barrels of salted beef. They carry crates of wool. In Norway, these things are precious. The soil at home is thin. The winters are long. This grain will feed Bjorn's family through the dark months. This wool will be spun by Astrid. The wind is shifting, Leif warns. He is watching the clouds. It smells of rain. Bjorn feels the air. It is damp. It is heavy. The weather is a predator. It can trap them on this beach. He gives the order to finish. They gather the last of the iron tools. Iron is valuable. They take the pots. They take the plowshares. They take the high-quality English wool. They do not leave anything of use behind. They begin the loading. It is a puzzle of weight. The silver goes in the small, locked chests. The grain goes in the center to keep the ship stable. The captives are placed near the mast. They are given water. They are given a little hard bread. Bjorn watches them. He sees their grief. He sees their fear. He feels a momentary thought of his own children. He pushes it away. This is the way of the world. The strong take. The weak endure. It has been so since the beginning of time. The law of the sea is the law of the strong, Thorkel mutters. He is checking the lashings on the cattle. The men work in teams. They do not talk. They use hand signals. They have done this many times. They are efficient. They are clean. There is no unnecessary cruelty. Cruelty takes time. Cruelty causes mistakes. They are here for the harvest of the sea. They treat the raid like a reaping. They cut the crop. They bind the sheaves. They move on. Bjorn walks to the edge of the woods. He listens. He hears the distant sound of a horn. It is faint. It is miles away. But it is a warning. The local king is gathering his fjord. The local warriors are arming. Bjorn has no interest in a fair fight. A fair fight is a failure of planning. He wants to be a ghost on the water before they arrive. To the ships, Bjorn bellows. The last men run to the shore. They push the hulls into the rising tide. The wood groans under the new weight. The ships sit lower in the water now. They are heavy with the wealth of the village. The oars hit the water with a deep thud. They push off. They leave the silent village behind. Bjorn stands at the stern of the longship. He looks back at the beach. He see the tracks in the sand. He see the empty houses. He see a single dog barking at the waves. There is no joy in his heart. There is only the satisfaction of a job well done. He has silver for his taxes. He has grain for his barn. He has slaves for his fields. The Norns weave a complex pattern, he thinks. He looks at his men. They are tired. Their faces are smeared with soot and salt. But their eyes are bright. They have survived another landing. They have won another day. They begin the long row back to the open sea. The rhythm returns. Pull, lift, slide. The blades of the oars move in perfect unison. The professionalism of the Norse is their greatest weapon. They are not mindless barbarians. They are organized. They are disciplined. They are a company of shareholders. Each man has a stake in the cargo. Each man knows his role. As the shore fades into the mist, Bjorn sits on his chest. He begins to count the silver in his mind. He calculates the shares. He thinks of the thing. He thinks of the laws of distribution. The rain begins to fall. It is a light, cold drizzle. It washes the blood from the deck. It washes the salt from the men's skin. They pull their hoods up. They lean into the work. The Viking is half over. The easy part is done. Now they must guard the prize. They must navigate the heavy ships through the gray Atlantic. They must bring the harvest home. Bjorn grips the steering oar. He feels the power of the ship. He feels the weight of the silver. He is a bondi. He is a raider. He is a provider, and the sea is his counting house. He looks toward the east. He looks toward Norway. The path is long. The water is deep. But the chests are full. The sun hangs low on the horizon. The sky is the color of a bruised plum. The wind has died down. The ships bob quietly on the rolling swells. This is the time of the gods. This is the time to look beyond the wood and the iron. Bjorn knows that strength is not enough. Skill is not enough. A man must be in harmony with the word. He must respect the hidden threads of the world. He stands by the mast. He looks at the carved figurehead. It is a dragon. Its eyes are wide. Its tongue is aflame. This head is not just for decoration. It is meant to scare the land spirits of the enemy. But now, they are back on the open water. Bjorn reaches up. He unfastens the wooden pins. He removes the dragon head. He lays it gently on the deck. He does not want to offend the spirits of the sea. He does not want to provoke the hidden ones of the deep. The Norns are busy tonight, Thorkel says. He sits nearby. He is sharpening a small needle. The air feels tight. Bjorn nods. He feels it too. It is a tingle in the skin. It is the weight of the invisible. He thinks of the three sisters at the foot of the tree. They are older than Odin. They are more powerful than Thor. They do not care about silver. They do not care about glory. They only care about the pattern. Bjorn knows his thread is part of their weave. He knows his life is a single stitch. He prepares a sacrifice. This is the blot. It is a vital act of the voyage. They do not have an altar of stone. They have the deck of the ship. Bjorn takes a small wooden bowl. He fills it with the last of the fine ale from home. He also takes a piece of the salted meat. It is the best cut. He does not give the gods the scraps. He gives them the portion of a guest. To Frey, Bjorn whispers, free is the lord of the harvest. He is the master of the sun. He brings the rain that grows the barley. He brings the peace that allows the farm to flourish. Bjorn pours the ale into the sea. He watches the brown liquid vanish into the foam. He tosses the meat into the dark water. Grant us a fair wind, he prays. Keep the rot from the grain. Keep the fever from the children. Let the ewes be heavy with life when we return. He does not ask for riches. He has already taken those. He asks for the things that sustain life. He asks for the balance of the seasons. He knows that gold cannot be eaten. He knows that silver cannot keep a man warm in the frost. He relies on the Vanir for the survival of his bloodline. Beside him, Leif is watching. The boy looks at the water. He looks at the spot where the meat sank. He is young. He still thinks the gods are like kings. He thinks they want flattery. Bjorn places a heavy hand on the lad's shoulder. The gods do not need our words, Bjorn tells him. They need our respect. They need to see that we know our place. We are the guests in their world. We are the tenants of the earth. They look up at the stars. The Great Bear is bright. The belt of Orion shines like a row of gems. The Norse call it Freyja's distaff. It is the tool she uses to spin the clouds. Bjorn thinks of the goddess of love and war. She is a creature of passion. She is a creature of the sword. She claims half the dead from the battlefield. Bjorn hopes she stays far from this ship tonight. He is not ready for her haul. The mood on the ship changes. The men begin to talk of the Volva. She is the seeress of their district. She carries a staff of bronze. She speaks in riddles. Bjorn remembers her visit to his longhouse last winter. She sat by the fire. She fell into a deep trance. Her eyes rolled back. She spoke of a great shadow over the west. She spoke of a harvest of iron. She saw this voyage, Thorkel says. She saw the silver before we did. Bjorn believes this. Time is not a straight line for the Norse. It is a pool of water. The past and the future ripples together. The deeds of the ancestors still live in the present. The choices of today will echo in the halls of the unborn. This is the word. It is a debt that must always be paid. It is a law that cannot be broken. The sea begins to glow. It is the sea fire. Tiny sparks of green light dance in the wake of the ship. To the monks, this might be a sign of demons. To Bjorn, it is the laughter of the spirits. It is a sign that the world is alive. Every wave has a soul. Every rock has a memory. He feels a deep sense of belonging. He is not a stranger on this water. He is a part of the ecology of the North. Sleep now, Bjorn says to his son. The Norns have the steering oar for a while. He stays awake. He listens to the rhythmic breathing of his crew. He feels the presence of his ancestors. He thinks of his father, who died in his bed. He thinks of his grandfather, who fell in a raid on the Irish coast. Their blood is in his veins. Their stories are in his bones. He is the bridge between the dead and the living. He reaches into his tunic. He touches a small charm. It is a hammer of Thor. It is made of lead. It is simple and gray. It represents the protection of the common man. Thor is the friend of the farmer. He is the breaker of giants. He is the one who keeps the chaos at the edge of the world. Bjorn feels the cold metal. He feels a sense of safety. The night is long. The cold deepens. But the spirit of the ship is strong. They have made their peace with the unseen. They have acknowledged the word. They have fed the gods. As the first light of dawn touches the rigging, the wind begins to blow. It comes from the south. It is warm. It is steady. It is the answer to the sacrifice. Bjorn stands up. He stretches his stiff limbs. He looks at the horizon. The path is clear. The gods are watching. The weird is unfolding exactly as it should. He feels the power of his faith. It is not a faith of kneeling. It is a faith of standing tall. He is Bjorn. He is a man of the north, and he walks with the shadows of the high ones. Raise the sail, he commands. The wool catches the wind. The ship leaps forward. The cycle of the day begins. They move through a world of magic and muscle. They move through the kingdom of the gods. And the thread of their journey continues to spin. The fleet does not return directly to the farm. First, they must go to the thing. This is the assembly. This is the heart of Norse justice. It is held in a wide, grassy meadow. The mountains form a natural circle around the site. Hundreds of men are already there. Their colorful tents dot the landscape. Their horses graze on the spring clover. Bjorn secures his ships in the nearby cove. He leaves a small guard. Then he walks toward the Law Speaker's Hill. The thing is not a place of war. It is a place of words. Every free man has a voice here. A bondi may be poor. He may have a small farm, but at the thing, he is a peer. He can stand before the powerful. He can demand his rights. Bjorn wears his best wool cloak. It is pinned with a silver brooch from the raid. He carries his spear. This is the sign of his status. The law must be built, Bjorn tells Leif, or the land will be laid waste. He finds his place in the circle. The law speaker stands on the rock. He is an old man. His memory is a library of poems and codes. He begins to recite the law. He does not read from a book. He speaks from his heart. His voice carries over the crowd. He speaks of land boundaries. He speaks of blood feuds. He speaks of the price of a stolen horse. Bjorn has a dispute to settle. A neighbor has moved a boundary stone. It happened while Bjorn was at sea. The stone sat in a patch of good grazing land. Now it sits 10 paces into Bjorn's field. In many lands, this would lead to a fight. It would lead to an axe in the dark. But here, they use the code. I call my witnesses, Bjorn says. He stands in the center of the assembly. Thorkel steps forward. 2 other neighbors follow. They swear on their arm rings. They swear by the gods. They testify to where the stone once stood. They describe the moss on the rock. They describe the shape of the hole. The assembly listens in silence. There is no shouting. There is no interrupting. The neighbor, a man named Rolf, speaks next. He is nervous. He tries to argue that the frost moved the stone. The men of the thing laugh softly. Frost does not move a stone 10 paces in a straight line. The law speaker looks at Rolf. He does not need to shout. The weight of the community is enough. The stone returns to its home, the law speaker declares. Rolf shall pay Bjorn 3 ounces of silver. This is for the trouble. This is for the lie. Rolf nods. He accepts the judgment. To defy the thing is to be an outlaw. An outlaw is a man of the woods. He has no rights. No one may feed him. No one may house him. Anyone may kill him without penalty. To be an outlaw is to be dead while still breathing. Bjorn accepts the silver. He shakes Rolf's hand. The feud is dead before it could be born. This is the cold logic of the North. The afternoon is filled with other cases. A man is accused of cowardice. Another is sued for a broken marriage contract. The silver from the raids is often used here. It pays the fines. It settles the debts. Bjorn watches the exchange of metal. He sees the hacksilver moving from hand to hand. The wealth of the West is fueling the peace of the North. The law is a shield, Thorkel whispers. It is stronger than iron, Bjorn thinks of the sagas. He thinks of Nail's saga. It is a story of law and fire. It shows what happens when men ignore the assembly. It shows the spiral of the blood feud. Bjorn does not want that for his sons. He wants a world where a man can sleep soundly. He wants a world where the rules are known. They move to the feast area. Great pits have been dug in the earth. Fires burn hot inside. Whole sheep are roasting. The smell of fat and smoke fills the meadow. This is the social side of the thing. It is where alliances are made. It is where marriages are brokered. Bjorn meets with a farmer from the northern fjord. They discuss the price of wool. They talk about the strength of the new king in the south. The world is changing, the farmer says. The kings want more power. They want more taxes. Bjorn frowns. A bondi values his independence. He does not want a king in his larder. He does not want a lord in his forest. He supports the law because the law belongs to the people. He fears a king because the king belongs only to himself. They drink their ale in silence. They watch the young men compete in wrestling. Leif is among them. He is testing his strength against a boy from the islands. They grapple in the grass. Their faces are red. Their muscles strain. The crowd cheers. Bjorn feels a sense of pride. His son is becoming a man of the community. He is learning the balance. He can fight in the shield wall. He can stand in the assembly. He can work the plow. As the sun sets, the weapon clash begins. This is the Vapnatak. The men beat their shields with their swords. The sound is like thunder. It is the sign of approval. It means the assembly is over. The laws have been heard. The judgments have been passed. The peace of the thing is established for another year. Bjorn walks back toward the shore. He feels lighter. The silver in his pouch is for the fine. The silver in his chest is for his family. He has defended his land with his tongue, not his blade. He has shown himself to be a man of honor. In the North, honor is a physical thing. It can be measured. It can be seen. The road home is short now, Bjorn tells his crew. They prepare the ships for the final leg. The captives are quiet. The cattle are restless. The wind is picking up from the west. It is a home-turning wind. Bjorn looks back at the meadow. The fires are dying down. The great assembly is breaking up. The men are returning to their valleys. They carry the law with them. He steps onto the deck of the longship. He feels the familiar tilt of the hull. He is ready to see the smoke of his own hearth. He is ready to see Astrid. The Viking job is almost done. The business of the state is finished. Now, there is only the soil. There is only the family. He grips the steering oar. He points the prow toward his own fjord. The water is dark, but his heart is steady. He is a man of the law. He is a man of the north, and he is going home. The fleet enters the home fjord. The water is narrow here. The shadows of the mountains are long. It is the time of the evening meal. But this is no ordinary night. The ships are full. The men are safe. This is the night of the Mead Hall. Bjorn leads his men to the high hall of the local jarl. The building is a massive timber structure. It stands on a ridge overlooking the water. It is a place of light in the darkness. Inside, the air is thick. It smells of roasting venison. It smells of honey and old oak. Great fires burn in the long pits. The smoke rises to the blackened rafters. The walls are hung with tapestries. They show the deeds of Sigurd the Dragon's Lair. They show the death of Balder. Bjorn takes his seat on the lower bench. He is a bondi. He knows his place. The jarl sits on the high seat. His chair is carved with the heads of wolves. Drink, the jarl bellows. The thralls move quickly. They carry great horns of ale. They carry silver-rimmed bowls of mead. The mead is sweet. It is strong. It is made from the summer honey of the mountain bees. Bjorn takes a long pull. He feels the warmth in his chest. He feels the tension of the sea leave his muscles. But he is careful. He remembers the Havamal. A man should not let the ale lead his tongue into a trap. The noise is a roar. Men are laughing. They are shouting stories of the raid. They are comparing their scars. But then, a man stands up. He is old. His hair is white as sea foam. He carries a small harp. The hall goes silent. This is the skald. He is the poet. He is the keeper of history. In a world without books, he is the memory of the people. The skald strikes a chord. The sound is sharp. It is clear. He begins to chant. This is the drapa. It is a poem of praise. He tells of the crossing. He describes the steeds of the waves. He speaks of the clash of the lindenwood. He uses kennings. He does not say sea. He says the whale's path. He does not say sword. He says the snake of the wound. Bjorn listens with his whole body. The poetry is complex. It is a puzzle of sounds. The skald uses alliteration. The words bite. They snap. They flow like the tide. Bjorn feels his heart swell. The silver in his chest is good, but the poem is better. The silver will be spent. The poem will live. It will be told to his grandsons. It will keep his name alive when his bones are dust. Tell us a riddle, a young warrior cries. The skald smiles. He puts down the harp. This is a game of wits. The Norse love a challenge of the mind. A man who cannot solve a riddle is a man who cannot survive a winter. What is the thing that breathes without lungs? The skald asks. It has no mouth, but it devours the forest. It has no feet, but it runs across the world. The men murmur. They think. Leif leans forward. His eyes are bright with the mead. Fire! The boy shouts. The skald nods. He points a finger at Leif. The lad has his father's eyes and the wisdom of the hearth. The drinking continues. The mood is high. But there is a serious side to the evening. This is where the bonds of the community are forged. Bjorn speaks with the jarl. He offers a gift. He gives the Jarl the silver-plated book cover from the monastery. The Jarl accepts it with a nod. This is the gift cycle. A leader must be a ring giver. He must be generous. In return, the men give him their loyalty. They give him their blades in the summer. Bjorn looks around the hall. He sees the faces of his friends. He sees the scars and the smiles. This is the soul of the North. It is a culture of extremes. It is the cold of the sea and the heat of the fire. It is the violence of the raid and the beauty of the poem. It is the silence of the law and the roar of the feast. They are not one thing. They are a balance of all things. A riddle for you, Skald, Bjorn says. He stands up. His voice is steady. What travels over the mountains but never moves? It sees the birth of the king and the death of the thrall. It is the road and the destination. The Skald strokes his beard. He looks at the ceiling. The hall is quiet again. The fire pops. A dog bark under a table. It is the word, the Skald replies. It is the path of fate. Bjorn sits down. He is satisfied. The Skald is a master. They raise their horns together. They drink to the gods. They drink to the fallen. They drink to the children who sleep in the longhouses. The evening wears on. The mead begins to take hold. Some men fall asleep on the benches. Others sing low songs of the old lands. The Skald begins a new story. He tells of the gods' journey to Utgard. He tells of Thor's strength and Loki's trickery. The stories are familiar. They are like old friends. They explain the world. They make the darkness outside seem less vast. Bjorn watches the flames. He thinks of the ships in the cove. He thinks of the silver in the dark. He realizes he is tired. He is ready for his own bed. He is ready for the quiet of the farm. The mead hall is for the tribe. The longhouse is for the man. He stands up quietly. He signals to Leif. They move toward the door. The cold air of the night hits them. It is refreshing. It tastes of the mountain snow. They walk down the path toward their own valley. The sound of the harp follows them for a while. It is a thin, beautiful sound. It fades into the whisper of the pines. Bjorn looks at the moon. It is a silver sickle in the sky. He feels the weight of the voyage behind him. He feels the weight of the future ahead. Tomorrow we unload the grain, Bjorn says. Yes, father, Leif replies. The Skald's evening is over for them. The world of the spirit has been fed. Now the world of the stomach must be served. They walk in silence. They walk with the rhythm of the sea still in their blood. They are men of the North. They have their silver. They have their stories. And the longhouse is waiting in the dark. The sun rises over the familiar ridge. It is a soft golden light. It touches the green fields of the fjord. Bjorn stands on the beach of his own land. The voyage is over. The Viking is a memory. Now begins the return to the soil. The work of the oar is replaced by the work of the hand. They begin to unload the ships. This is a family effort. Astrid is there. The younger children are there. They form a line from the water to the storehouse. Bjorn carries the heavy sacks of grain. He feels the weight on his shoulders. This is the real silver. This is the food that ensures life. They carry the barrels of salted meat. They move the crates of wool. The captives are led to the fields. Bjorn assigns them tasks. He gives them tools. They will help with the late planting. They will repair the fences. They look at the mountains with wide eyes. This land is vertical. It is harsh, but it is their new home. Bjorn treats them with a firm hand. He is not a tyrant. He is a master who needs a harvest. He turns to the Gnar. He brings out the silver chest. He carries it into the longhouse. He sets it on the heavy oak table. Astrid watches him. He opens the lid. The light of the hearth hits the metal. There are the thin coins. There are the chopped arm rings. There are the silver pins. This is the price of the summer, Bjorn says. Astrid runs her fingers through the coins. She does not look at the beauty. She looks at the utility. This silver will pay the taxes to the jarl. It will buy a new iron cauldron. It will buy a better bull for the herd. She nods. The risk was worth the reward. The family is secure. Bjorn takes off his iron mail shirt. He hangs it on the wall. He hangs his sword beside it. He feels lighter. He feels thinner. He puts on his old stained work tunic. He picks up a bucket. He walks to the barn. The smell of the cattle greets him. It is a warm, thick smell. It is the smell of peace. He begins to muck out the stalls. He moves with a steady rhythm. The transition is complete. He is no longer a raider. He is no longer the master of a ship. He is a farmer. He is a father. He is a bondi. He looks at his fields. The barley is already starting to sprout. The green shoots are tiny. They are fragile. They need his care. He spends the afternoon checking the drainage. He clears the stones that the spring rain washed down. In the evening, they sit by the fire. The longhouse is quiet. The smoke rises to the roof. Bjorn tells the children about the sea. He tells them about the whales. He tells them about the sunstone. He does not talk about the blood. He does not talk about the screams in the village. Those things are for the Mead hall. Here, by the hearth, he is the teacher. The sea is wide, he tells them. But the land is what keeps us. Respect the earth. It is the mother of all things. He watches Leif. The boy is quiet. He has seen the world. He has tasted the salt. He is different now. He has the eyes of a man who knows his own strength. He will take over this farm one day. He will carry the lineage forward. Bjorn feels a deep satisfaction. The thread of the family is strong. As the weeks pass, the raid becomes a story. The silver is hidden away. The grain is ground into flour. The captives begin to learn the language. They become part of the household. The rhythm of the seasons takes over. They hay the high meadows. They prepare for the midsummer feast. Bjorn stands on the hill one evening. He looks down at the fjord. The water is blue. The mountains are purple in the dusk. He thinks of the men he left behind in the west. He thinks of the cold professionalism of the shield wall. It feels like a dream. It feels like it happened to another man. But then he touches his arm. He feels the scar from the axe. He feels the strength in his grip. The Viking has changed him. It has sharpened him. He is a better farmer because he has been a raider. He knows the value of his peace. He knows the cost of his security. The legacy of the voyage is not just the silver. It is the knowledge. It is the connection to the wider world. The Norse are no longer locked in their fjords. They are the explorers. They are the traders. They are the bridge between the east and the west. Bjorn is a small part of that bridge. He is a single stone in the wall. He walks back to the longhouse. The door is open. The light of the fire spills out onto the grass. He sees Astrid spinning wool. He hears the laughter of his children. He thinks of the Havamal one last time. Home is best, though small it may be. He steps over the threshold. He bars the door. The world outside is vast and dangerous. The gods are high and demanding. But here in the circle of the fire, there is warmth. There is family. There is the fruit of the labor. Bjorn the bondi lies down on his bed of furs. He listens to the wind in the pines. He is home. The voyage is done. The cycle is complete. He closes his eyes and sleeps the deep sleep of a man who has fulfilled his weird. The fire in the longhouse burns low, and the shadows grow long against the timber walls. Bjorn's story reaches its end, but the echoes of the past never truly fade. We hope these rhythms of the north, the creak of the oar and the rustle of the barley, have brought you a sense of quiet and a deeper sleep. The history of humanity is a vast tapestry of strength and tradition. If you wish to journey to another age of warriors and discipline, stay with us. Our next story takes you from the misty fjords of Norway to the sun-drenched hills of Greece. Discover the grueling path of the hoplite in a day in the life of a Spartan warrior. Until the sun rises again, may your rest be deep and your dreams be steady. Sleep well,